It is the 7th of April 2026. You're welcome to the Uganda Catholic Television. My name is Joseph Kabale. I'm bringing you Uctv News. Now, starting us off, the Uganda Police Force has vowed to leave no stone unturned in the investigations into the killing of the 4 children at a daycare center in Gaba as it moves to prosecute the prime suspect. Now, addressing the press conference at the police headquarters this morning, the police spokesperson Lusoke Chituma said investigations into the case involving Christopher Okero have been completed and the case file already submitted to the Directorate of Public Prosecution for guidance. He noted that police are now awaiting direction from the DPP before formally charging the suspect, emphasizing that securing justice for the victims remains their top priority. We brought that report.
A brief on the fatal attack in Gaba at the daycare center. What I can brief you today, on top of what we gave you on the day of the incident, is that our file, as I speak, is complete. We have done whatever it takes, and we are going to take the suspect to court. We have submitted, actually the submission is being done today of the file, and we expect the outcomes of the DPP to give us final guidance. But our ultimate objective is to see that the victims get justice and we hold this perpetrator accountable. I would also like to add, because we had not shared this, that we came across a video of a lady who alleges that the suspect committed a murder prior, and that is in I think 2019, if I'm to be exact. We picked interest into that matter. It was all over social media, and what we tell everybody listening to us is that we shall follow that matter to its depth. Our CID teams are looking into the facts around it, because the allegation is that he got off the hook. If we find that there were any loose notes, we shall tie them to ensure that this suspect does not go scot-free. We shall patch up all the gaps. Like I've said, our ultimate objective is to see that the victims get justice and that this perpetrator is held accountable.
The president of the Democratic Party, Honorable Norbert Mau, has joined the ongoing NRM retreat in Chankwanz, which is being attended by NRM's members of parliament-elect, independents, and party officials. Now, Mau urged the legislators to take their responsibilities seriously, emphasizing that the retreat is designed to shape their mindset and prepare them to play a crucial role in determining Uganda's future in the 12th parliament.
The crested crane doesn't know that it is really so valued. So if the crested crane knew it would be living in State House, nobody would chase it. It would be parked in Parliament. It would be in the Supreme Court. But because it is not aware, so this retreat to me is about a new consciousness among the members of Parliament, that beyond being elected as members of Parliament, they are the ones who are going to design the future of Uganda. In other words, they are going to play the role of a midwife. See, a midwife is very important. A midwife brings new life, and that's a sacred responsibility. So my expectation is that that sacred responsibility will become clear to the members of Parliament.
Tomorrow we shall have the official opening address by His Excellency the President, and thereafter other programs will follow. A day after tomorrow, the whole day will be dedicated to Parliament. The Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament will make a presentation. After that, we shall have presentation by the Right Honourable Prime Minister, and other subsequent presentations will follow. This retreat is mainly aiming at reorganizing and refocusing leadership towards the basic common goal that we presented in our manifesto as we were campaigning. And therefore, we are just moving to align the strategic leadership of the country towards those basic goals and making sure that they understand the core of the manifesto of the party, because that is the working document that they'll be working on. So that is the purpose and that is the main objective of the retreat.
And in other news, the government of Uganda has secured US $540 million in funding from the World Bank to support the second phase of its urban development program, known as Uganda Cities and Municipalities Infrastructure Development Program. Now, the funding will be implemented starting from the 2026-27 financial year with a focus on improving urban planning, service delivery and job creation. Addressing journalists at the Uganda Media Center earlier today, the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Judith Nabakoba, said the program is expected to benefit more than 5.6 million people, including communities in refugee hosting communities. Launched in 2013, the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development Program, now rebranded as USMID, was designed to support Uganda's vision of sustainable urbanization in line with successive national development plans targeting cities, municipalities, and refugee hosting districts outside the Kampala metropolitan area. While addressing journalists at the Uganda Media Center today, Judith Nabakoba, the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, revealed that the project has registered significant achievements, including the installation of over 11,000 street lights, expansion and construction of urban roads, among other developments.
We did a total of 208.4 kilometers of urban roads, 2-lane equivalent, were completed across the initial and additional financing phases. Then safety and lighting, it is 11,555 solar street lights were installed to improve nighttime safety, but also business working hours.
It's against this background that the government has moved to scale up the program, following the acquisition of the 2.1 trillion Uganda shillings from World Bank.
And also $80 million, of which is a grant. The funding is for the second phase of USMID program.
The minister noted that the new phase will focus on strengthening institutional performance of urban local governments and ministries, while improving access to climate-smart infrastructure, services and jobs for urban residents and displaced populations across the 10 regional cities, 26 municipalities, and 13 refugee hosting districts.
The program development objective is to enhance the institutional performance of selected urban local governments and ministries for urban planning and management, but also improve access to climate-smart infrastructure, services, and jobs for urban residents and displaced populations in refugee hosting areas.
The minister further emphasized that the program is aligned with Uganda's broader development agenda, including Vision 2040 and the 4th National Development Plan, positioning urban centers as engines of economic growth and job creation. She has since called on local government leaders and stakeholders to ensure readiness for implementation by addressing environmental and social safeguards ahead of the commencement of works.
As a ministry, we are looking forward to cooperation and support from all government MDAs for the successful implementation of this USMID. Local government leaders are particularly urged to ensure all pending environmental and social safeguards are met to facilitate a seamless commencement of works in the upcoming fiscal year, which is 26-27.
This comes in the prospect that Uganda is urbanizing rapidly, with 27% of the population now living in urban areas and increasing at a rate of 5.2% annually. Yet the same urban population is projected to grow by 69% in the next 10 years, adding an estimated 8.1 million people to the country's urban areas alone. Well, still from the Uganda Media Center, Uganda's local organizing committee for the CAF Africa Cup of Nations 2027 has dismissed concerns over the country's preparedness to co-host the continental tournament. The assurances follow reports suggesting that Uganda may not be ready in time due to incomplete infrastructure projects. Now addressing the media in Kampala, the chairperson of the Communications and Signage Subcommittee, Dr. Dennis Mujimba, said the country still has adequate time to meet all the requirements set by the Confederation of African Football. He also noted that the government has already allocated 905 billion Uganda shillings towards the key preparations, including upgrades to stadiums, airports, roads, hotels, as well as improvements in water, electricity, ICT, and healthcare facilities. We have more.
CAF is not marking us just on completion. They are marking us on readiness, on progress towards readiness, towards completion. So those of you, good enough a number of you here as sports journalists, you've been to several AFCONs. There's no reason for pressing the panic button more than a year ahead of kickoff. We feel good. We have the political support. The money is on our side, and God is also on our side. Please don't be carried away by this whole thing back and forth you see in the media with what sometimes I call punching and counter-punching to do with our relationship with the Federation. The relationship with FUFA is very strategic. By the FUFA are the ones that initiated this bid of Pamoja, not just for Uganda, but the whole Pamoja. FUFA were the brainchild behind this. So we really have to give credit where it is due. FUFA did a lot. Number two, in the formation of the local organizing committee, it was a joint effort of both FUFA and the government of Uganda. We have 13 subcommittees. Of those 13 subcommittees, CAF clearly guided where a subcommittee is chaired by a government of Uganda official, then vice chairperson has come from the Federation. So out of the 13 subcommittees, you may find 6 are chaired by FUFA, 7 are chaired by government.
Once again, we thank you so much for watching the Uganda Catholic Television. My name is Joseph Kabala. I will take you for a break, after which we'll come back with more from our local news stories.
Uctv. Good news for all.
At Centenary Bank, we know that agriculture is more than just a livelihood, it's the heartbeat of our nation. That's why we've created the Centenary Bank Agricultural Product Suite, designed to meet the unique needs of every farmer. From planting and nurturing to harvesting and selling, our products are tailored to your needs with flexible repayment plans, grace periods, and cash flow based on loan structuring. At Centenary Bank, we are committed to turning your hard work into lasting success. With us by your side, your produce reaches the market and your dreams become reality. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
Uctv. Good news for all.
You're still watching the Uganda Catholic Television. We thank you so much. Uctv News now returns with the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety, which has attributed a surge in road crashes during the Easter season to reckless behavior by road users, including overspeeding, dangerous overtaking, and failure to observe traffic regulations. Now, while addressing the press, the traffic police spokesperson Michael Kananura said the holiday period recorded increased traffic on major highways and in urban centers, leading to several accidents, some of them being fatal. He noted that motorcycles, commonly known as boda-bodas, accounted for 49% of the fatalities, while pedestrians were the second most affected group at 36%, underscoring their vulnerability on this country's roads. We have more.
During the period, the road network across the country experienced increased traffic flow along major highways and in urban centers as people traveled to and from various destinations. During the season, Some road traffic crashes were registered across the country, some of which were fatal and resulted in loss of lives and injuries. Risky road user behavior, particularly speeding, reckless overtaking, and non-compliance with traffic regulations continued to be the leading contributors to the crashes that were recorded during the season. A high number of crashes involved motorcycles, bodabodas, which contributed to 49% of the total fatalities, followed by pedestrians, who accounted for 36% of the total fatalities. Among the notable crashes, one has already been given to you by the PRO, but something I wanted to add on the same is that the chairman LC5 was knocked along with the other two victims, where one succumbed to his injuries on the 6th, that is yesterday, whereas one remains in critical condition. And this crash involved a commuter taxi, or Toyota Hiace UBQ 853E, and the chairman's vehicle UG3 400084, a Toyota Hilux, in which the deceased was traveling. And according to our preliminary investigations, this was a speeding commuter taxi that rammed into the chairman's vehicle, which had been parked along the highway facing the opposite direction of the taxi's movement. And it was at around 8:20 in the evening in that trading center. And the crash left the chairman and two others seriously injured. Then the chairman later succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. Our investigations, of course, are still ongoing, as the PRO updated you. And one thing we want to urge the motorists is to observe the speed limits at all times, more especially in high human density areas. These are areas where you cannot be sure of what may come along the way. There are children crossing, there are elderly, and so many other things, especially where places where there are so many people. And that's why we always urge people to reduce their speed whenever they approach such areas. We implemented a series of operations that aimed at enhancing road safety and minimizing crashes. Some of these included the drink driving. The drink driving operations were conducted in the night of the day before Easter, and we also mounted checkpoints with breathalyzers, which were used to detect and deter drunk driving. And a total of 65 drivers were found in violation during the night operations, which were conducted within the Kampala metropolitan, and 7 other drivers were also got on our checkpoints, and these were drivers of public service vehicles, where 2 were drivers of buses and the others were drivers of taxis. They were arrested, and all these offenders were penalized accordingly. We also apprehended a total number of 690 drivers and riders for various traffic violations during the season, and among these violations looked at, we had some drivers, those that abandoned vehicles on the roads. We had those that had done dangerous loading, those that were driving vehicles in dangerous mechanical condition, those that illegally modify their vehicles by adding other lights, adding extra axles, and also building up the beds on their trucks. We also arrested those that disobeyed the traffic directions, especially those that drive in one ways.
Well, and finally, from our local news stories, the Makerere University Guilty presidential aspirant Gracious Kadondi has accused the university authorities of failing to ensure a free and fair elections, alleging that her campaign activities were blocked this morning in Chikoni near the campus, raising concerns over fairness just days ahead of the polls scheduled for Thursday, 9th April 2026. We have more.
An aspiring guilty president at Makerere University has criticized the university authorities over what she describes as failure to ensure free and fair elections. Gracious Kadondi, who is also a member of the National Unity Platform, made the remarks this morning while addressing journalists in Kikoni, near the university campus. Kadondi accused the university administration of allegedly working with the security forces to block her campaign activities, including a mega rally that had been scheduled for today, April 7th.
If indeed all these events are now being cancelled in the interest of order, and why was a similar event for one candidate allowed to proceed with maximum security plus diversion of traffic to make sure that it comes to a success?
She claims that while her activities were halted, other candidates have continued with their campaigns without interference.
When one candidate organizes, it is acceptable, but when the rest organize, it becomes a concern. These are legitimate questions that arise from what appears to be an inconsistent application of standards.
Kadondi says such actions undermine fairness in the electoral process and has called the university to provide a level playing field for all candidates.
We remain committed to a peaceful and lawful campaign, and we respect the role of both the university administration plus the security agencies. However, we believe that fairness, consistency, and equal treatment must be upheld for all the candidates. We call upon the Makerere University community and the nation at large to take note that the integrity of this election process depends not only on the candidates, but also on how fairly all actors are treated. To the students of Makerere University, this is your moment. On Thursday, the 9th of April 2026, you have the power to make your voices heard, your vote to defend fairness and independence of the Students' Guild.
Madundu Demiano, Charles Katabalwa, UCTV News.
We thank you so much for the company and for watching the Uganda Catholic Television. Up next are programs you wouldn't want to miss. On behalf of the team, we wish you the very best of the night. Until we meet again, good night.